Operation Shadowbox, 6:59 p.m. I report to deep storage because I am on the mend from losing my finger in my last op. Hey, Hugh. That was the voice of one Agent Gertrude Jenkins. Hugh, you're not in the field. You don't have to take notes. Oh, I beg to differ. I have worked with the Bureau far too long to put my guard down in even the most mundane situations. Operation Shadowbox, 7:32 p.m. Looking through and logging artifacts of supernatural significance with low potential to cause lethal effect. I came across a pair of Adidas gym shoes from 1987 that give one the ability to breakdance so well it puts you on the level of Ozone or Turbo from the popular movie Breaking and its predecessor Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's still logged down here. Oddly enough, we have never learned a practical field application for said gym shoes. Operation Shadowbox, 8:01 p.m. I decide to tackle unlogged items in a pile of artifacts that may or may not have supernatural significance. As a precaution, I run each item over an EMF reader. Operation Shadowbox, 9:02 p.m. After toiling away at our useful, albeit tireless work, Agent Jenkins has found our situation unbearably boring, her exact words. We find a video cassette recorder dusty on a shelf and decide to watch a movie while we log. I deem the practice unsafe, but ultimately I've been as to not be an asshole. Operation Shadowbox, 9:04 p.m. I run the VCR under the EMF for good measure and the CRT television set. Gertrude believes that it belonged to Agent Kenneth Winthrop. We did karaoke at his retirement party. His swan song was Seal, Kissed by the Rose. Oh, I remember that. Didn't you do Running Up That Hill? Yes, I did indeed. Operation Shadowbox, 9:07 p.m. We cannot find videotapes, so we pull from a selection of handmade cassettes. We decide on Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. Operation Shadowbox, 10:54 p.m. After a delightful romp through faith-based comedy, the videotape flickers to an image of Agent Jenkins and I filing and logging items, in essence, capturing us in our current moment. As I pull my service revolver, so does my counterpart on the CRT television set. Gertrude gets up and pauses the tape while I look for a recording device. Operation Shadowbox, 10:56 p.m. After finding the exact angle, I could not discern what was recording us on the outdated tech. Gertrude and I inspect the CRT television and the VCR to find nothing out of the ordinary. Operation Shadowbox, 11:05 p.m. I call Director Zimbabwe Klein for instructions on how to proceed. A rogue VCR or CRT television set. Our security may be breached. Very sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Operation Shadowbox, 11:07 p.m. Gertrude pushes play on the tape, and we receive a perfect accounting of all the actions we took 5 minutes hence. Operation Shadowbox, 11:09 p.m. I recommend that we fast forward the tape. We watch ourselves 5 minutes in the future. I pull out the tape and I am looking through the translucent film. This is odd because this was the course of action I had thought to do next. Gertrude is pacing on the film, visibly disturbed. Operation Shadowbox, 11:10 p.m. Gertrude does in fact freak out, and I do eject the tape so that I may look at its contents. I find nothing out of the ordinary. My next thought is to watch said tape and do something that was not in fact on the tape. I am curious if watching our reactions change our reactions. Operation Shadowbox, 11:11 p.m. Gertrude pulls her service revolver and braces for the worst. I fast forward the videotape. The tracking is blurry and hard to read. 10 minutes into the future, the video clearly depicts Gertrude and myself talking. I adjust the sound, but there is no sound. I only manage to read our lips, and I make out words like, calm down, maybe we should destroy it. My future self mentioned something about training applications. Our digital future selves stop starkly as if something has them on high alert. Digital me pulls his surface revolver. I fast forward the tape. I cannot be certain, but in the static I seem to make out predatory eyes glancing at us in the complex digital patterns. Operation Shadowbox, 11:13 p.m. When I stop the recording 11 minutes ahead, I am discharging my weapon at something I cannot see out of the camera's field of vision. Gertrude is lying in a pool of her blood, more than likely dead. Operation Shadowbox, 11:14 p.m. I pull my surface revolver and speak to Gertrude. I urge her to calm down. How are you so calm, Hugh? We need to destroy that thing. What if that is what it wants? Besides, think of the applications we could use for training purposes. I instantly realize we are in the instant we just watched. And if we are in keeping with what happens, I reach for my revolver instinctively. Operation Shadowbox, 11:16. The growling intensifies. Gertrude attempts to run for the stairs. Wait, don't run! You saw the tape, you know what happens. Operation Shadowbox, 11:17 p.m. Nothing happens, which begs the question, does it know what is actually happening, or is it a fabrication? I fast forward the tape and watch an image of Gertrude being hit by a car. On a hunch, I abandon the VCR and venture to the parking lot. Operation Shadowbox, 11:25 p.m. Agent Gertrude is hit by a car, not quite in the way the VCR depicted, but close enough to be considered not coincidental. Operation Shadowbox, 11:35 p.m. I return to long storage and find the VCR is now playing the finale of Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. Operation Shadowbox, 11:37 p.m. With a heavy heart, I log the VCR and CRT under items of extreme danger and place it under containment. Operation Shadowbox, 12:38 p.m. Addendum. In driving back to my apartment, I notice in the rearview mirror curious lines of static, or what I might better describe as that of VCR tracking. I look for clues. I question if we are in the VCR's reality, or it is in ours. I will keep an eye on this emerging development.